One of the most interesting questions I have ever encountered in the entire Elder Scrolls series: where are the Dwemer? An entire race vanished into thin air without any explanation. Well, how about we talk about who the dwarves are and where they might essentially have disappeared to? As always, if you learned something new in this video, leave a like, it really does help me. This comes from your guys' suggestions, like always, so thank you. Anyways, let's delve right into it, and I just want you to know that Yagrum Bagarn, if I pronounced that right, approves of you watching this. So first question is, who are the Dwemer? The Dwemer are a very mysterious race, also known as the Dwarves. If you have played Skyrim, you have more than likely ventured into a dwarven ruin at one point or another and seen the incredible technology that keeps their homes running. Along with pipes stretching for miles and steam-powered cogs, you have machines defending them, and artificial intelligence in a medieval setting like this. How did they manage all this? Well, we will get to that eventually, but for now, just know that the Dwarves aren't the same as what you could imagine in other races. They aren't small chubby men with beards down to the ground. They are a type of elf also known as deep elves. They have some other nicknames like the Deep Ones or similar names that correspond to them being underground, but they are unlike any elven race you know of. They were beyond advanced for their time. As I said earlier, they were masters of machines, but it wasn't their only skilled trade. Every type of craft involved in any material like stone or metal came to them like breathing. Magic, enchanting, anything they got their hands on, they worked on it to the point where no other race could compare to. They have a somewhat eventful history, but it all ends on a very special day in the year 700 of the First Era when Dwemer chief Tonal architect Lord Cagranach, that is a mouthful, tampered with the heart of Lorcan, and during the final battles of Red Mountain the entire dwarven race vanished. It isn't confirmed that his tampering caused it, but it's the closest reason that makes sense. How does an entire race vanish? Okay, so with a bit of background detail, let's get into a quick summary of their history. So other than the many conflicts of the race, the beginnings of the Dwemer are extremely sketchy in detail, almost to the point where it is unknown when they were founded. It is speculated that they came from the Meritic era or even earlier before. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm actually really bad at pronouncing stuff, if you didn't know that. They are, however, an ancient race that were around for a long time. So around the end of this era, the Dwemer started to become more known across Tamriel, and they were mostly said to have been set up in the Velotti Mountains between Morrowind and Skyrim. This would explain why you can find dwarven ruins in both these places. So first comes the Ethereum Wars. Again, I'm sorry if I butchered that. Across Skyrim, all the dwarven cities such as Blackreach, Raldbatar, and Muzzlft, I really can't pronounce these, but you'll see them there, were working together to mine and control a new mineral they discovered called Ethereum. These groups combined were known as the Deep Folk Crossing. Each city served a purpose in this massive operation, if not controlling the mineral storage to controlling the entire mining operation. Over time, however, these cities seen the power that could be held in created Ethereum artifacts, and so each city decided to try and take Blackreach, the main hub, for itself. This led to a massive civil war that went on for years and was so bad for the Dwemer that it literally tore their cities down, crumbling the population with it. The High King of Skyrim at the time decided to intervene and stop them by marching his armies across Skyrim and taking over these cities over a total of 3 years. He succeeded. So after about a century, the Dwemer managed to take back their cities, but Ethereum was no longer recorded from then on, so it is believed that the whole project itself was just left because of the troubles it had already caused. Next came the War of the Crag. So if you didn't know, there used to be another race across Skyrim and some other places known as the Snow Elves. These people, however, are not in any of the current games you have played. Or are they? The Snow Elves were losing a war to the Atmorans and seeked assistance from their cousins, the Dwemer. The Dwemer agreed to take them on, with the catch that they consumed the fungus from them. They were like test subjects, but where they thought it was harmless, it did worse than you'd think, and this is quite a dark part of Dwemer history. Over time, the Dwemer gained the Snow Elves' trust, and when it was least expected, the Dwemer betrayed the Snow Elves and enslaved them for years, forcing them into torturous labor and continuous consumption of the harmful fungus. This continued for decades without people knowing. So what happened to the Snow Elves from here? Well, the fungus started to make them blind, and the hard labor and harsh underground living changed their bodies. Over time, they became what Skyrim players will know as the Falmer. Remember next time you fight a Falmer that was once a living elf who was both physically and emotionally tortured into their conditions. That, however, is a story for another video. From here, the Dwemer continue to be involved in harsh conflict, but hopefully the information so far has given you a bit of background on them. So let's get on to the disappearance of the dwarves. Well, over the many years, the dwarves continued to strive in all aspects of technology, but it was never enough. They wanted power that could even take on gods. As mentioned earlier, there was a Dwemer chief known as Lord Cargranach. He was a massive name across the Dwemer race, and when exploring through Red Mountain came across an artifact known as the Heart of Lorcan. This is an artifact that was said to have come straight from Lorcan's body and holds enough power that it would be able to keep an entire race alive forever. This was Cargranach's idea, to instill divinity across all the Dwemer through manipulation with tools like Sunder, Keening, and Wraithguard. So during the Second War of Red Mountain in the year 700, in the First Era, Cargranach created a spell that would achieve the goals he wanted. This, however, was said to completely backfire, and in a single moment every single Dwemer disappeared. How? Well, this is a question that has still not been answered but only speculated, and the best I can do for you is give you some of the speculations that I agree with and some of my own. So let's just say he cast a spell and the Dwemer just vanished due to it. Then some of the outcomes of the spell could be that he either destroyed the entire race due to the amount of power the heart held, or they were all teleported to somewhere else in the universe, to another dimension entirely. These guys could have been thrown into the middle of space for all we know, but since it is a spell, maybe he tried using a spell to transfer said power from the heart, but it somehow managed to send the entire race somewhere else. We know the spell affected only Dwemer in that particular realm due to the fact that there is actually a single surviving Dwemer, one that Naravarine, the main protagonist from Morrowind, actually met. His name is Yagrum Bagarn, and he has spent thousands of years across different realms trying to find his race, but has had no results whatsoever. So with this single remaining Dwemer, we know that it is only affected the realm Nirn is in because Yagrum was visiting a different realm at the time, and when he returned his race was gone. So that is about the closest we have on why they are gone. The spell cast by Cargranach is the closest we have to a viable reason. I have another thought on it though. What if, like Alduin, the Dwemer managed to send themselves into a part of time that has not happened yet? What if at one point they do appear again? I like to think this is a viable reason as well, since the Dwemer did hold an Elder Scrolls in one of the cities. Alas, for now though, all we can do is continue to speculate. But I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and that you learned something new. This is probably one of the most informative videos I've made. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed it, and as always, I shall see you in the next video.